Welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be taking a look at the motorcycles dealers can't sell. Number 12, Harley-Davidson Sportster S. The Harley-Davidson Sportster S has become one of the clearest examples of a motorcycle dealers cannot sell in 2026. Across the United States, many units have been sitting on showroom floors for over 1 year, with some stretching past 15 months. Inventory aging at this level shows demand is far lower than expected. Pricing is the biggest reason. The Sportster S carries a price tag close to $16,000 before tax, freight, and dealer fees. In most states, the final number pushes beyond $18,000. That immediately slows buyer interest. Used listings make it worse, with low-mileage bikes already showing near $12,000, which destroys confidence in new bike value. Ownership costs add pressure. Insurance rates are higher than many buyers expect, and tire replacement comes sooner than average. Fuel stops are frequent, and for riders who plan more than short city use, that becomes a deal breaker. When buyers calculate monthly expenses, the numbers often fail to justify the purchase. Dealers have responded with incentives. Discounts of $1,000 to $2,000 are now common, along with low-interest financing and extended warranty bundles. Even then, many Sportster S units remain unsold, continuing to age quietly in dealer inventory. In 2026, the numbers speak clearly. If a motorcycle sits for over a year despite discounts, the market has already rejected it. Number 11, BMW R18. The BMW R18 has quietly become one of the slowest-moving motorcycles in American dealerships heading into 2026. Many units have been sitting for more than a year, with some dealers reporting stock that has not moved since early 2024. Floorplan pressure is building, and that alone tells a serious story. The core issue is price versus demand. The BMW R18 carries a price tag starting around $18,000, and real-world totals often climb well past $20,000. That immediately limits buyers. When used R18 listings with under 3,000 miles appear near $13,000, new bike value drops hard and shoppers notice. Weight and usability also affect sales. Buyers walk in attracted by the badge, then walk out after realizing how heavy and demanding the bike feels at low speeds. Parking, slow traffic, and city use all become concerns, especially for older buyers who were once the main target. Dealers have tried aggressive tactics. Discounts of $3,000 are now common. Some stores bundle service plans, extended warranties, or zero-down financing just to move aging inventory. Even with these offers, many R18 units remain unsold, taking up space and tying up cash. Number 10, Triumph Trident 660. The Triumph Trident 660 is another motorcycle dealers are struggling to sell in 2026, with many units sitting unsold for over a year across the United States. Dealer listings show bikes arriving, staying, and aging out without serious interest, which is unusual for a middleweight model meant to attract newer buyers. The problem starts with pricing expectations. The Trident 660 carries a price tag around $8,000 before tax and fees, and real-world totals often move close to $10,000. At that level, buyers begin comparing monthly payments instead of brand appeal. Value perception is another issue. Buyers expect strong equipment and long-term ownership comfort at this price, but many walk away feeling the numbers do not justify the spend. Dealers have tried to push inventory with incentives. Cash discounts of $500 to $1,000 are now common, along with low APR offers. Even with these deals, many Trident 660 units remain parked for months, quietly aging in dealer systems and forcing stores to rethink future orders. The entry-level and middleweight market has become extremely price-sensitive. Buyers want clear savings, strong resale, and low running costs, and hesitation sets in quickly when any of those numbers feel off. In 2026, the Triumph Trident 660 shows how quickly a motorcycle can stall when pricing and buyer expectations fail to line up. Number 9, Indian FTR. The Indian FTR has become another motorcycle dealers cannot clear in 2026, with many units sitting unsold for more than a year across the United States. Dealer aging reports show FTR models lingering well past 12 months, something rarely seen in a category that should move quickly. pricing plays a major role. The Indian FTR carries a price tag close to $13,000 before tax and dealer charges, and many buyers see final totals pushing $15,000. At that level, shoppers slow down and start comparing alternatives. Used listings make things worse, with low-mileage FTR units already showing near $9,000, cutting straight into new bike demand. Ownership math further weakens interest. Insurance quotes often surprise buyers, coming in higher than expected for this type of motorcycle. Tire wear is another concern, with replacements adding noticeable yearly cost. When buyers calculate monthly expenses including financing, insurance, and maintenance, hesitation sets in fast. Dealers have tried to respond with incentives. Discounts ranging from $1,000 to $2,000 are now common, along with extended warranty offers. Even with these efforts, many FTR units remain parked, tying up floor space and dealer capital. In 2026, the Indian FTR proves that strong branding alone cannot move motorcycles when the numbers no longer convince buyers. Number 8. Suzuki Boulevard M109R. The Suzuki Boulevard M109R is another motorcycle dealers cannot move in 2026, with many units sitting on showroom floors for more than a year across the United States. Dealer inventory data shows some bikes aging well past 12 months, which is a serious issue for a model that has been around long enough to have a clear buyer profile. Pricing is a major roadblock. The Boulevard M109R carries a price tag close to $15,000 before tax and dealer fees. In most states, the final number climbs towards $17,000. Buyers see that total and hesitate, especially when used listings with low miles appear near $10,000. That gap makes new units a tough sell from day one. Running costs also work against it. Insurance quotes often come back higher than expected, and rear tire replacement adds noticeable expense over time. Fuel consumption is another factor buyers calculate carefully, and once monthly costs are laid out, enthusiasm fades quickly. In a market where buyers track every dollar, these numbers matter. The heavy cruiser market has shifted. Buyers are more cautious, resale value matters more, and long-term ownership costs now influence decisions more than image alone. In 2026, the Suzuki Boulevard M109R stands as proof that when pricing and ownership numbers fail to line up, even long-standing nameplates can sit for a year or more. Number 7. Harley-Davidson Pan America. The Harley-Davidson Pan America has turned into another motorcycle dealers are struggling to sell in 2026, with many units sitting unsold for more than a year across the United States. Dealer aging reports show Pan America inventory stacking up, especially outside peak riding seasons, signaling demand has cooled sharply. Price is the main wall buyers hit. The Pan America carries a price tag close to $18,000 before tax and dealer fees, and many buyers see totals pushing past $20,000. That number immediately narrows interest. Used listings worsen the problem, with low-mileage bikes already appearing near $13,000, creating a steep value gap that new units cannot escape. Ownership costs also scare buyers away. Insurance quotes often come back higher than expected for this category, and maintenance pricing is not cheap. When buyers break down monthly payments with insurance and service costs included, the math stops working for many households. Buyer expectations have shifted. Shoppers in this segment want clear reliability history, stable resale, and predictable costs. Early depreciation and mixed ownership feedback make buyers hesitate before committing real money. In 2026, the Harley-Davidson Pan America shows that high pricing and uncertain value can leave even headline models sitting untouched for over a year. Number 6. Indian Scout Bobber. The Indian Scout Bobber is another motorcycle stuck in dealer inventory going into 2026, but the reason here is more subtle, and that is exactly why it keeps sitting. Across the US, many Scout Bobber units have crossed the one-year mark unsold, even in high-traffic dealerships that usually move cruisers fast. The problem starts with market positioning. The Scout Bobber carries a price tag around $13,000 before tax and fees, and most buyers end up staring at totals closer to $15,000. That puts it in an awkward space. It is no longer an entry-level buy, yet it still demands compromises that buyers at this price no longer accept. Resale numbers are doing real damage. Lightly used Scout bobbers with very low miles are already showing near $9,000 in many states. When buyers see that drop within a short ownership window, confidence disappears. Financing a new one suddenly feels risky. Practical ownership also plays a role. Insurance quotes are higher than expected for a mid-size cruiser, and the riding setup limits longer use. Buyers often like it in photos, sit on it at the dealer, run the numbers, and then walk away without starting paperwork. In 2026, the Indian Scout bobber is not failing on appeal. It is failing because the price and resale math no longer work in its favor. Number 5. Triumph Rocket 3. The Triumph Rocket 3 is sitting longer than dealers expected in 2026, and in many U.S. showrooms it has already crossed the one-year mark without a buyer. This is not a low-demand model on paper, but real-world buying behavior tells a different story once numbers are discussed. The first shock comes at the register. The Rocket 3 carries a price tag around $23,000. In several states, out-the-door totals move close to $26,000. That instantly pushes most buyers into pause mode. At this level, shoppers start thinking about resale risk, not excitement. Depreciation hits early and hard. Used Rocket 3 listings with very low miles are already showing near $17,000. That drop scares off new buyers, especially those financing. Monthly payments look heavy, and the idea of losing thousands in the first year kills urgency. Ownership math adds more pressure. Insurance quotes are high, tire replacement costs are not small, and routine upkeep is not cheap. Dealers have tried moving these bikes with large incentives. Discounts of $3,000 to $4,000 are now showing up, along with special financing. In 2026, the Triumph Rocket 3 proves that when a motorcycle reaches a certain price level, the numbers matter more than reputation, and right now those numbers are pushing buyers away. Number 4. Indian Challenger. The Indian Challenger is another motorcycle that dealers are struggling to sell in 2026, with many units gathering dust for over a year in the United States. Unlike models that attract quick attention, the Challenger's floor stock is aging quietly, creating pressure on dealers who expected faster turnover. The key issue is cost. With a price tag around $20,000 before tax and dealer fees, the final amount often climbs past $23,000. For buyers in this category, that number raises hesitation immediately. The situation worsens when lightly used Challengers with very low miles appear around $16,000, making new inventory feel overpriced. Running expenses also factor in. Insurance rates for a large cruiser are higher than many expect, and maintenance and tire replacements are not cheap. Buyers who calculate monthly payments including financing and upkeep often step back, realizing the overall numbers do not match the experience offered. In this segment, buyers expect reassurance in value and predictability in costs. When those expectations aren't met, hesitation turns into no sale, even for a well-known nameplate. Number 3. BMW K1600B. The BMW K1600B is facing serious sales challenges in 2026, with many units sitting in U.S. dealerships for over a year. Dealers report that some bikes have remained unsold for 15 months or more, creating pressure on inventory and tying up capital that could be moving faster. Price is the main issue. The K1600B carries a sticker around $23,000 before tax and dealer fees, and out-the-door totals often push past $26,000. For buyers considering long-distance touring bikes, that number triggers hesitation, especially when lightly used models are already listed around $18,000, undercutting new bike value. Ownership costs add to the slowdown. Insurance premiums are higher than expected, tire and maintenance costs are significant, and fuel consumption is another factor buyers calculate carefully. When monthly expenses are added together, many shoppers step away before paperwork begins. Dealers have attempted to move stock with incentives. Discounts of $3,000 to $4,000, low-interest financing, and bundled service plans are now common. Even with these efforts, many K1600B units continue to sit, quietly aging while newer releases capture attention. In 2026, the BMW K1600B shows that even premium touring motorcycles can remain unsold for over a year when the math does not add up for buyers. Number 2. The Harley-Davidson Nightster. The Harley-Davidson Nightster is one of the hardest motorcycles to move in 2026, with many units sitting in U.S. dealerships for more than a year. Dealers across multiple states report that inventory has barely shifted, creating floor space and financial pressure that slows other sales. Price is the main barrier. The Nightster comes with a tag close to $14,000 before tax and dealer fees, and most buyers see totals pushing toward $16,000. For this category, that number immediately raises hesitation. Used models with very low miles are already showing near $10,000, which undercuts new bike appeal and further stalls interest. Practical costs also affect buying decisions. Insurance rates are higher than expected for this middleweight cruiser, tires wear sooner than typical for the segment, and fuel stops are frequent. When buyers tally monthly payments including financing and upkeep, hesitation grows. Dealers have tried to move stock with incentives. Discounts of $1,000 to $2,000, low-interest financing, and service plan bundles are now common. Even with these offers, many Nightster units remain unsold, quietly sitting while other models capture attention. In 2026, the Harley-Davidson Nightster proves that even well-known nameplates can remain on floors for over a year when pricing and ownership math fail to convince buyers. Number 1. The Kawasaki Eliminator. The Kawasaki Eliminator has quietly become the slowest-moving motorcycle on dealer floors in 2026, and in several U.S. markets it has been sitting longer than any bike on this list. Dealers expected quick turnover, but many units have now crossed the one-year mark with no serious buyers, which puts it at the top of the problem pile. The issue is not awareness, it is expectations. The Eliminator carries a price tag around $7,000 before tax and fees, and once paperwork is added, buyers often see totals pushing close to $9,000. For what buyers believe this motorcycle should offer, that number immediately causes hesitation. The situation gets worse when nearly new used units show up around $5,000, making new stock feel overpriced overnight. Buyer behavior has also shifted. Shoppers looking at the Eliminator are extremely price-sensitive. They compare monthly payments closely, and when financing, insurance, and basic running costs are added, many decide to wait or walk away. At this level, buyers want simple value, and the numbers are not lining up. Dealers have tried moving inventory through smaller incentives rather than big cuts. Free accessories, first service packages, and low APR financing are now common. Even with these tactics, Eliminators remain parked, often pushed to the back of showrooms as newer arrivals take priority. And with this, we have reached the end of this video. Make sure to like it and subscribe the channel for future upcoming videos.